there's a lot that's going to be going on in February. Okay, so I have everything written out here and here in 3 readathons, plus my TBR game, plus my rollover, plus my devotionals, plus my 12 and 22 reading challenge. There's a lot, so let's just get into it. First of all, I'm gonna go over what I did not finish in January. First things first, I had 2 books that I had to read by February 1st or else they had to get unhauled. I finished one and I loved it, and we'll talk about that later. I did not finish Democracy and the Renewal of Public Education. Normally that would mean that I'd have to automatically unhaul this. However, as I was reading, I purposefully decided that I am not going to keep it on my TBR, but I am going to just save it for future education papers when I'm taking classes again. Really good for quotes, for papers and academic research and stuff like that. So I'm saving it for that, but kicking it off, so to speak, my TBR. So it's going right over here. So the other books that I did not finish on my TBR last month will be getting rolled over for the next 3 months. And I have to read them by May 1st or they'll get unhauled. And those are, we have Catherine the Great, Positive Intelligence, Killing Kryptonite, Blackout, Grit, Russian Stories, The Year of Magical Thinking, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And Good Morning, Good Life's not part of that, but I did start a reread of that. It's just not on my TBR. Then we have the books that rolled over from November into January because I skipped December for Bookmas. And these need to be read by April 1st. Russian History Atlas, Feisty and Feminine, Opportunity Knocks, The Mystery of the Shemitah, Do You Think I'm Beautiful, Revolution in World Missions, and Anna Karenina. Also by April 1st, I need to read my character prompts for Magical Readathon, which I did change a little bit. I decided to use The Reckoning, picture here, as my book placed in a city or town because most of the story takes place in this one town in Mississippi, so I'm using that for that prompt. Continuing a series, I'm going to read The Next Pages & Co., and I'll either read that this month or next month. I haven't decided yet, but sometime in February or March that will be happening because we love Pages & Co. Play with Fire stays the same, so I just put it up here in case I read it this month. If I don't read it this month, that's fine, I'll read it next month. It's not on the TBR, but it's up here as an option, so I get that done by April 1st. Lastly, you see there are a few other books up here. These 4 are the books that must be read by March 1st or they will get unhauled, which I don't want to unhaul any of these. I kind of love that these 3 are like love relationship theme, and I just need to continue on with Moscow. It's just such tiny print that it's hard to read, but I need to like read a couple pages a day or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But these 4 are in jeopardy and they have to be read in the next, well, today's the 3rd, so in the next 25 days, I gotta read these. So moving on to what I did read in January. It was actually a really good reading month, despite what you just saw. It looked like I didn't do that great, but I actually read and finished 9 books. So I'm gonna first of all get started with the books that I gave 3 stars, and please, before I show you this, please don't hate me. So the first book that I gave 3.5 stars was And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie. The other book I gave 3 stars, really 3.75 stars, was 7 Days of Us. So then the first book that I gave 4 stars was The Reckoning by John Grisham. It's The Closing Christmas. I ended up really liking this. For the Edupreneur Side Hustle Handbook, I gave 4.5 stars. And now we're getting into my 5-star reads. So I'll go ahead and show you these 2 together because they're 2 Christian living books that were just absolutely fantastic and I highly recommend. They are Unashamed by Christine Kane and The Path of Life by Lisa Robertson. Loved them both, 5 stars, and if you are looking for a good Christian living or devotional, check these out. Then my favorite book of the whole month, I was not anticipating this, but 5 stars for The Things We Cannot Say. So sad, but so good. So, for this month's TBR, I have, of course, the devotional. I am a little bit behind already, but I'm really enjoying Jesus Calling. This is my 2022 year-long devotional. We're continuing that. I will also be continuing Kids Ministry That Nourishes. We came across another list, so that means this is going to be going on for a couple months more. And I started working through the Drawing Near student workbook, but it is very detailed. There's a lot. This is the video transcript part, and then there's just a lot to fill in for the workbook, and I don't want to rush through it. I feel like this is a theme with my John Bevere books specifically. I have the tendency to put it on my TBR and then feel like I'm having to rush through it, and I don't want that to be the case, so I'm just putting it on as my devotional instead of putting it into my rollovers. This right here is going to be my 12 in 2022 book. I did put it on hold from my library, but they have to get it from another library in the system, so I'm waiting for that to come in, but I am looking forward to this. It seems like an interesting story. So now I already went ahead and I filmed my TBR game footage. So for my TBR game, I decided to choose 3 books for this month because even though I read a lot in January, I only finished 3 books on my actual TBR. So I decided that I would just choose 3 books for my TBR game this month. So I have so many other books to read this month that we're going to get into in just a minute. So that is why. The 3 books that I read from my TBR in January, one was a 3-star, one was a 4-star, and one was a 5-star. So I got to play each aspect of my game, and it kind of went like this. So first I drew a prompt from this little tin. And I got the piano tuner. Then I rolled the dice. This is my only TBR shelf right now, and I realized there are more in my closet that I could have used for the game, but since both numbers rolled were a 1, I ended up just choosing the book that was right here, and that is Acts of the Apostles. And then lastly, I drew out of my heart of titles, I guess you could call it, my 5-star predictions and books I'm looking forward to, and I got No God But One. So here is the TBR game TBR for the iPad out, handy dandy iPad, and find out what the Patreon buddy read will be for this month. I did not do great about posting on Patreon last month. I'm not like a big booktuber or anything like that, and I know Patreon's usually something that you don't start till later on, but I want to get in the habit of it, so that is why I'm doing this. Are we ready for the reveal? You can see I have them right here. Let's see what Patreon will focus on, which means that it won't be shared as much in my regular YouTube videos. Okay, No God But One. If you are interested in chatting on Discord with this, or having special vlogs, or anything I decide to do with this on Patreon, join my Patreon in the description below and we'll talk about this. And I've already started it, but it is really good. I can tell you that. I'm only to like page 38 or something like that, I think. Not very far into it. Chapter 3, I think that was it. Yeah, right there. So we'll get into that on Patreon. I'm participating in 3 readathons, like I said earlier: Brontëlong, Web Regency, and Polarthon. So I'm not going to share my Polarthon TBR in this video. I'm going to make a separate video at the end of the week, but you can get a little glimpse of what I might be reading for Polarthon since I've only been talking about it for the last year. Subtle hint. I do have another book that's supposed to come today, and 3 ebooks that I need to choose. For Brontëlong this month we are reading Jane Eyre. This is hosted by Mary Among Stories and 2 of her friends. I don't remember their names, but they have a schedule of all the Bronte sisters' main works that we'll be reading throughout the year. I am particularly participating in Jane Eyre and the books by Anne Bronte because I've not read hers before, and I love Jane Eyre, so I'm doing both. And for Feb Regency, I have 3 ebooks that I am reading. First of all, Northanger Abbey by Jane Austen, Georgiana Darcy's Diary and Longbourn. All of them are either by Jane Austen or based off of Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, and I'm really excited about it because I wanted to read those anyway, and Feb Regency is the perfect opportunity and excuse to do that. So that's what's happening this month. I'll say I do want to do more reading sprints and live videos on this channel, as well as more book-focused vlogs. I'm probably not going to do as much weekly reading vlogs because I just don't tend to do that great with those, but I really enjoyed like doing my blind date with a book reading vlog where I was just like focusing on one book for 3 days, so I might do more like that this month. If you are interested in that, first of all, go check out that video, but also make sure that you subscribe so you don't miss any of the videos that I post this month. I want to post, if I could do this is my like dream ideal situation, post on YouTube one day and Patreon the next day. We'll see. And a lot of those will probably be like reading sprints or live videos, stuff like that. But with that, that is everything for February and the TBR. I hope you guys have a great reading month. Give this video a like if you enjoyed my rather chaotic reading plans for the month. And I will talk to you guys next time. Bye!